go ahead and get started for today. My recommendation is that we are going to get started in a constructive rest posture. So reclined means on our backs. Whatever variation sounds right to you, you can take full Shavasana, meaning legs out, hands resting where feels comfortable for you. You can take Supta Baddha, which means feet together and letting your knees fall out wide. Option for props, you can put blocks or jars underneath your knees if you need a little bit more comfort, maybe even towels or blankets. Or, as I suggested, constructive rest. And what constructive rest is our feet are going to come as wide, if not a little bit wider than the mat, and then let your knees knock together. And once you find the lower body variation that feels right to you, test out your arms, see what feels right. You can let your hands fall down at your side. Palms facing up is a good way to indicate a little bit extra energy, to take some energy in from the space around you. Or you can lay one hand on belly, one hand on heart. And this is just a nice way to give yourself a little bit more weight, a little bit more connection with the earth. And it's also a good way to test your breathing. So again, yogi's choice to start off class this morning, whatever feels right for you, whatever is the best variation for you. And I will give my little disclaimer here. I did mention it in the email with the link to connect, but I am experiencing a little bit of a back seize. I think I just slept funny. Not sure what happened, but my range of motion isn't what it normally is. So just make sure that you go to the point that feels comfortable for your body. In some cases, it's going to be a do as I say, not as I do, just due to those limitations. But it's also a really, really important connection with the intention I've been following this week and what I've been focusing in on, which is the idea of comparison. As we're getting close to being able to possibly do yoga in the park again, yoga in person, or even if you're feeling comfortable to go back to a studio, yoga does have a tendency to bring in comparison. It has a tendency to allow you to look at that person next to you, or looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing where you are day to day, when really the idea of yoga is meeting yourself where you are here and today, that there is no comparison. This is your shape, your body, your experience right here and right now. And honoring that is what's so important. Honoring that is where our yoga falls. And so honor me some forgiveness in meeting my body where it is today, but also making sure that you have your own experience and giving yourself what you need in class today. And if that means pushing yourself a little bit further than you were yesterday, pushing yourself a little bit past what I'm demoing, beautiful. But that also means if that's not where you are today, that's perfect. That's absolutely okay. So just taking a moment to honor your shape, honor your body, honor your breath, and of course, any other intention that is calling to you today. Let's take one big, deep breath into that space. Fill up your lungs, fill up your belly, let that breath travel all the way down into your toes. And then as you exhale, let it soften. On your next inhale, gently allow your feet to come back to neutral. If you have your knees out wide, pull them in together. If your feet are out wide, heel toe them in. Or if they are extended, go ahead and pull them back into space. And then go ahead and just give yourself some nice little windshield wipers. Letting your knees fall side to side, pressing your entire vertebrae down into the mat, giving yourself a little low back massage. It's also the benefit with having some low back sensation for myself. I hope this is a really nice, yummy feeling class for all of you as well. Kind of leaned into that. Once you feel balanced, once you've given each side the same amount of love, go ahead and let your right foot release towards the sky, taking your foot as straight as you can. Here's one of my limitations. I can't fully get it up to pressing on the ceiling, but find that variation where you need, and go ahead, give yourself some nice ankle rotations, going the opposite direction, some nice little sloshy movements. And then once you feel balanced, you've taken your ankles in each direction, go ahead and let that right ankle cross over that left knee. And then begin to press that right knee forward while energetically you're pulling that left knee back in space. Should feel good in your hip flexor, maybe a little bit into your IT band. Now we're going to protect our knee joint by activating through our right toes. So pull your right toes back in place. Our foot isn't going to go limp. We're going to keep it nice and active, and that protects that knee joint while we're pressing that right knee forward and energetically pulling that left knee back. Now, if this is where you are today, this is perfect. If you are craving a little bit more sensation, if your body needs a little bit more, you can thread the needle, clasping towards the belly of your left thigh, and begin to straighten through that left leg. Again, going to the point where you need, allowing that right knee to still be tracking forward. Left knee is now actually, not just energetically, but energetically and actively being pulled back in space, all the while pressing your low spine down into the earth, opening up through our sides of our legs, maybe into your hamstrings. Give yourself at least one more really big, really connected breath here. And then as you exhale, let that left knee fall back down towards the earth, and then release that right leg down towards the mat. Give yourself some windshield wipers, any little adjustment you need to. And then on an inhale, pull that left leg up in space. There we go. That one's a little bit more available for me. Go ahead and take those nice ankle rotations, one direction and then the other, allowing yourself to find your nice availability in your shape here and now, pressing that low spine into the mat. And then as you're ready, cross that foot over that knee. Already here, activating that left foot. We're not letting it point. We're not letting it go limp. We're keeping it nice and active to protect that left knee. And then begin to energetically and maybe physically press that left knee forward while you feel that right knee energetically pulling back in space. Beginning to feel that sensation in your hip flexor, in that hamstring on the left side. And then check in here. Identify which side, or if you can match your opposite side, recognize where you are in your shape, and then go ahead, if you can, thread that needle, lifting that right leg up in space, pulling back in space as that left knee tracks forward, finding that nice availability, that nice stretch, beginning to get into our glutes, that hamstring. Keep that left foot active, keep that left foot protecting that knee, and then begin to press that left knee forward while you're actively and energetically pulling that right knee back in space. Giving yourself a couple beats here. Maybe take some nice big deep belly breaths into that sensation. Recognize where you're feeling it. Maybe it's even finding that sensation on that right side. Last one. And then as you exhale, gently allow that foot to release down to the mat. Release the cross of the legs. Go ahead, give yourself some nice windshield wipers. Hands can fall to belly, out to the side, maybe up in goalpost. Just beginning to wake up our spine. Wake up our vertebrae, wake up our torso. And then if it's calling to you, you can let your fingers reach up overhead, toes reach forward. Take a nice big deep belly stretch. And then pull those knees into space, giving yourself a tight squeeze here. You can clasp opposite knees. You can reach towards your elbows wherever you're available. And then give yourself some flashy movements, some nice little rock side to side. And once you feel ready, begin to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine, gaining enough momentum that you can come into a seated position. Take a moment here, sit nice and tall. Feel like there's a ribbon pulling your sternum towards the sky, elongating through your vertebrae to really fill up your lungs. And then as you exhale, melt your shoulders down your back. Just take a moment here. Now that we're elevated, we're We're moving up off the earth. Take a beat to recognize that intention, to give yourself permission to not compare, to be right here, right now. You're in your space. You have your own props. You have your own availability. And that's beautiful. And that's perfect. Once you feel ready, go ahead and sweep those legs out to the side or curl over your ankles, making your way into a tabletop position, and find some nice sloshy movements here. Deep bends in elbows, wagging that tail side to side, maybe pressing back over those legs, reaching forward, recognizing what your shape is craving, what your shape needs, and permission to find that, permission to go there. And then once you feel ready, find that nice neutral tabletop, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Walk your hands forward about a handprint distance, and then step it back, setting up for plank pose, feeling this energy here. So now with plank, we want one line of energy. We're not sinking into our low spine. We're not sinking into our shoulders. We're staying nice and elevated. Now, I am really intentionally feeling this here where even having some low back sensation, I'm not dumping into my low spine at all by contracting through my quads, contracting my glutes, feeling that nice, strong connection, and this isn't triggering that at all. So try and find that point where you're not triggering any point in your body. You are totally supported with your strength. And then as you exhale, you can travel through plank or drop to knees and let your elbows graze your ribs, come all the way to belly. Once you're there, tops of the toes press into the mat. Feet are about hip width distance. Proprioceptively, just sense that. Activate through those legs, hands directly underneath your shoulders. We've got 3 rolling cobras. So find your breath. Find that connection. As you inhale, press into those hands 20 to 30% of your weight. And then as you exhale, slowly release everything down. Feel like it's a wave rolling through your spine, rolling through your vertebrae. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, release. We've got one more. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, release. On your next inhale breath, pressing it up through that plank or tabletop, activate through your core, and then let your hips travel high and back, coming into your downward facing dog. Now for today, let's take some time really setting it up. So take a deep bend into your knees, press into every single fingertip, feeling like there's a triangle in between your thumbs and your pointer finger, letting the elbows of your eyes face each other while you corkscrew your triceps in towards your ears. And this allows for a little bit more space in your vertebrae. If available to you, you can begin to straighten through your legs today, allowing yourself to find the downward facing dog your body is craving here today, giving yourself permission to find it, permission to breathe into the space. And now let's take one big deep breath into our intention. The idea of comparison, the forgiveness if we do compare, but permission to let that go, or whatever it is you're focusing in on here today, give yourself a chance to find it right here and right now. On your inhale breath, let your right leg release high to the sky. Really reach it tall, reaching up through those fingertips, pressing into the fingertips, reaching up through the toes. And then as you exhale, pull that knee into belly. Take your time, full, big, long exhale. Take this entire time to look at that right thumb and then step it through. You can use your hand to get there if you need to. Opportunity to find a stack of books, maybe a yoga block, maybe a jar underneath your left hand. We're going to stay active in our left leg. As we inhale, we're going to rotate that right hand up and open. Kind of feel like you're getting a gentle high five and you're rotating through your spine. Inhale breath, reach up through those fingertips. As you exhale, reach it forward. Inhale, reach it tall. Exhale, reach it forward. Let your arms float like a rainbow. And we're not sinking into our left shoulders. Inhale, press up through those left hands, reach it up and tall, staying nice and buoyant, nice and lifted. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale, reach it tall. Let your hands come back down to the mat. Let those blocks move out of the way. Inhale, big setup, step it back, find your plank pose. Exhale with control through knees or through plank. Elbows graze your ribs all the way to belly. Tops of your toes press in. Inhale, breath. Cobra pose. Only one this time. Exhale, release. On your next inhale, press it up through plank or tabletop, and then let your hips lift high and back. Trying to find that perfect downward facing dog. Going directly there, whatever shape it is. We're going to move into second side. Same breath to body connection, same movement. Inhale, let that left leg reach tall. As you exhale, pull that knee into belly, into chest. Looking at that left thumb, using your hand to get there if you need to. Setting up the similar way. If you use props on the opposite side, go ahead and find those props. And then once you're ready, inhale, let that left hand reach high, finding that nice little rotation, breathing like there's someone giving you a gentle high five. And then as you exhale, reach it forward. Inhale, open up, find that twist. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale, find that nice revolve low lunge. Exhale, reach it forward, finding that stretch through that whole side body. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, hands come back down to the mat. Moving your props out of the way. Step it back, find your plank pose, big inhale energy. And then as you exhale, traveling through knees or through plank, come all the way to belly. Toes press into the mat. Inhale, one breath, your cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up through plank or tabletop, and then hips lift high and back, downward facing dog. Finding that nice release, finding the exhale into that intention. Continuing this breath to body movement, building up off the earth. Inhale, breath. Let that right leg reach high to the sky. As you exhale, look straight down the midline, pulling that knee into belly, into chest. Look at that space right between your hands, and then gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Big movement. Cartwheel it all the way up and open into our 5-pointed star. Toes are going to point out towards opposite corners. And then as you exhale, sit it low. Drop those hands to knees. And then as you inhale, use your arms to create some traction in your spine, pressing that crown nice and tall. And then we're going to exhale, release that right shoulder to left knee. Inhale, come up through midline. Exhale, left shoulder, right knee. Inhale through mid. Exhale, right shoulder, left knee. Once more. Inhale through mid. Exhale, find that nice little twist. Inhale, come back through midline. Hands come to heart center. Sit it low, horse pose. Sweep it tall, 5-pointed star. Fingertips reach high. As you exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Pop that back heel up. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. And then as you exhale, with control, coming all the way to belly, use your entire exhale. Inhale, breath, press it up, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath, find your way up into your down dog, traveling through your transition, whichever variation is calling to you. Reach those hips high. Exhale, melt that heart. Inhale, breath, left leg travels high to the sky. With control, we're moving straight down the middle. Take your time. Look at that space right between your thumbs. Gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Same big movement all the way up, finding your way into your 5-pointed star. Toes go out to opposite corners. As you exhale, sit it low, horse pose. Flowing through that. Inhale, sweep it up and around. Fingertips reach tall, 5-pointed star. Gather all that energy. Hands through heart center. Sit it low, horse pose. Once more. Inhale, sweep it tall. Exhale, sit it low, horse pose. Inhale, sweep those hands high, 5-pointed star. Cartwheeling it towards the top of your mat. Pop those back heels up. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. Exhale, with control. Make your way all the way to your belly. Tops of the toes press in, low back, then arms. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Find your plank or your tabletop. Hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. One more little breath to body movement. Some nice little flows. Finding your dance, your connection. Inhale, right leg lifts high, reach it tall. As you exhale, pull that knee into your belly, into your chest. We're going right down the middle again, looking for that space between your thumbs. Back heel gets heavy, same big movement. Inhale, cartwheel it all the way up. 5-pointed star. This time our toes are going to point straight forward. And as we exhale, hands are going to come to heart. And we're going to bend deep into that left knee as we send our booty back. So there's our balance. We're getting a nice stretch through our inner thigh as we're balancing by sending booty back, head leans forward. Inhale through mid. Exhale, deep bend into that right knee as you send that booty back. If you can stay really low and walk across. Inhale, come back through mid. I'm not quite there today. As you exhale, deep bend into that left. Inhale through mid. Exhale, deep bend into that right knee. Hands come down to the mat. Walk it forward, making it into our low lunge. And then as you inhale, step it back. Plank pose. Exhale with control. Make your way all the way to belly. Inhale, breath, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Hips high and back, making our way into our downward facing dog. We've got our skandasana flow, our gate flow. One more time on our second side. Inhale, that left leg breathes high to the sky. Exhale with control, moving straight down the midline. Step it through right in between those thumbs. Back heel heavy, all the way up into 5-pointed star. Big inhale breath. Toes point forward. And then as you exhale, deep bend into that right knee. Send your booty back for balance. Plant that outer edge of your foot into the mat. Inhale, come up through mid. Use that connection to really find that control, to find the stretch, to find the depth. Inhale, come up through mid. Exhale to the right. Inhale, come up through mid. Last time. Exhale, deep bend in that left knee, stretching through that right. Hands come down to the earth. Walk it forward. Pop that back heel up, making your way into your low lunge. Inhale, step it back. Plank pose. Last one for a while, so take your time. Through knees or through plank, all the way to belly. Tops of your toes, low back. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up through that plank or tabletop, letting your hips lift high and back into your downward facing dog. We're here for about 3 to 5 breaths, so you can find some sloshy movements, maybe pedaling through those toes, wagging your tail, reaching those hips high. As you exhale, melt that heart towards your legs. And then just find the difference in how this shape feels versus the one we were in not that long ago. Finding the opportunity to breathe here, opportunity to connect with that body, opportunity to connect with that intention, and not worrying about any other posture, where we were, what we were doing, what anyone else is doing, and just focusing on here and now. Big inhale breath, open mouth, let it go. Inhale, roll it forward into your plank, and then drop down to your knees, tabletop position. Setting up for a little bit of core here, but we're going to find core as we're facing the earth. So give yourself time to really find that connection, to really find those four corners of our connection with the earth, pressing equally in with all of our fingertips, gripping so much that maybe your palm begins to create like a little envelope of space underneath. So we're not dumping into our shoulders, we're not dumping into our wrists, we're staying nice and buoyant, nice and lifted. And now energetically feel those knees underneath your hips. On an inhale breath, we're going to release our right hand, reach it forward, one line of energy. Stay for your exhale. And then on your inhale, let that left toe reach back. So opposite sides, opposite reach. Inhale breath, reach it through. And then as you exhale, coil it in. Elbow comes to touch that knee. Elbow to knee. There we go. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale, coil in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, coil. If you need a little bit more, you can come to elevate your right knee as you exhale, coil it in. So you can hover your right knee an inch if you need a little bit more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, coil. We've got 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Reach it out. Exhale, coil. Release that crunch, and then hand and knee come down to mat. Go ahead, give yourself some nice tail wags, whatever splashy movements you need before we set up for second side. Once you feel balanced, make your way back into that tabletop position. Again, feel the control, feel the power here. We're not sinking into shoulders, sinking into our back. We're staying in one line of energy. Feel that ribbon pulling your crown of your head nice and long. And then inhale, let that left hand reach top. Entering my assistant yoga teacher, Augie, here to help. And then reach that right toe back. Find that nice one line of energy, reaching it long. And then as you exhale, crunch it in, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Find that control, coiling through your back, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Feeling that one line of energy, and then coiling it in. We've got 5. Last 4. 3. Last 2. Once more, really reach it long, grow an inch taller, and then use that inch of space to coil it in. Reach it out, and then release those hands and knees to mat. Go ahead, pull your knees close together, press into your fingertips, hips reaching back, finding some nice big expansion through your low spine. Your forehead can come to the mat. Just breathing into that core space, that belly, that space we just activated, while expanding through that low spine. One more big breath here. Use your exhale to release. And then gently come back up into your tabletop. Curl over those toes, and then let those hips lift high and back, moving into our down dog. Take 3 big breaths here to set up for our energetic space, set up for the next phase of class where we're going to cultivate heat through building strength. We're going to cultivate our connections here and now, and we're not going to worry about anything that can't come before. We're not going to worry about anything that has yet to come. We're not comparing this to anything, even if they are familiar postures. One more big breath. Open mouth, exhale, smile, and let it go. Inhale, release that right foot to the sky. Reach it tall. And then as you exhale, pull your knee into belly, into chest. Look at that space between your hands. Use your hand to get there if you need to. Back heel gets heavy. Inhale, keep that deep bend in that front knee. Cartwheel it up and open. Exhale, land into your warrior two. Take some time here. Feel the breath. As you inhale, you're pressing your toes away from each other. Fingertips are reaching apart. Crown is reaching tall. And then as you exhale, you sit it low. Release any tension in your shoulders. Pressing and pulling equally to find the power of this warrior two posture. Stay low in that front knee. Inhale, breath. Flip that front palm and then reverse your warrior. Your left hand can act as a brace on your back leg, but we're not leaning into that left side. We're staying nice and lifted. Deep bend in that front knee, reaching through the side body. This is more to open up our ribs than to find a backwards bend. One more big breath. And then as you exhale, come back through horse. Straighten through that front leg. Fingertips reach tall. 5-pointed star. Toes reaching out towards the opposite corners. And then sit it low. Find our horse pose. We're going to hold it here. We flowed during our opening. So try and go to your depth. Try and find that edge where your muscles begin to shake, while you can still reach your crown high while sitting it really low. Option to bring your hands to your hips if that gives you a little bit more control. But that does add a little bit more weight to our hips, so it might be a little bit more difficult. We're only here for one more breath. Fill up completely. Sit it low on your exhale. Inhale. Sweep those fingertips tall. Toes reach forward. Again, just like opening, with a little bit more strength. As you exhale, deep bend into that left knee, pressing down into that knife edge of our right toes, our right pinky edge of our foot. Hand can come down to the mat, hands can come to the mat, or to your blocks if that feels right for you. And we're gonna hold on to the Skandasana for 3. Breathing into any sensation, maybe in that inner thigh, maybe that quad is shaking. All of those things are perfect for 2. One more big breath. And then inhale, come back through 5-pointed star. Reach it tall. Exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Inhale, step it back. Find your plank pose with control through plank or tabletop. Making your way all the way to your belly. Tops of your toes press in, low back. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up through plank or tabletop. Hips lift high and back into your downward facing dog. One big breath here, fill up. Feel those hips lift nice and tall. Exhale, soften through something. Inhale, release that left leg towards the sky. Reach it tall. And then with control, pulling that knee through midline, looking at that space between your hands. Back heel gets heavy. Inhale, cartwheel it up and open. Exhale, landing in our warrior two. Taking some time here. Feeling the power of this posture. Reaching everything away from each other. Feeling the muscles activate to do so, and then opposite muscles activate to pull everything in towards each other. Drop your shoulders, sit it low, crown reaches high, find that nice exhale to find that depth. Flip that front palm, inhale, reverse that warrior. Again, right hand is just a brace here. We're not sinking into our right side. We're staying nice and elevated through both side bodies. And then as you exhale, come into that 5-pointed star. Toes reaching towards opposite corners. Exhale, sit it low. Second round of an extended horse pose. You can find a different arm variation. Also, option to come up onto those heels. Finding the control you need. Finding the connection you need. Holding that connection. heels elevated or anchoring down for 3. Breathe that crown high for 2. Go to your depth for 1. Inhale, breath, release. 5-pointed star. We've got our opposite Skandasa this time. Toes point forward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Deep bend into that right knee, going to your depth. We're holding here. You can use your hands as a brace on the floor in front of you if that is calling to you. Really breathing into that sensation. Balance comes from sending your booty really far back as you bend forward. We're finding that center line right over our space. And again, activating these quads. That's what's holding us up. Nice big elongation through those inner left thighs. One more big breath here. Use that exhale, go to your depth. Inhale, come back through 5-pointed star, stand it tall. We've got a little change coming up here. Exhale, cartwheel it towards the top of your mat. This time, step it back into plank to just come into your tabletop position. We've got some fun transitions coming up here. So we're gonna come into a variation of a side plank, but it's a supported side plank. So left hand is gonna be really heavy on our mat. Our right hand is gonna be the one that's flying, but we're gonna set up so our right leg is our brace rather than our left leg. So we're gonna allow that right leg to come to sit right in line with our left knee. It kind of looks like a weird Captain Morgan posture. The toe is going to point forward. So our knee and our arm is pointing forward while our foot is pointing off the side of the mat. And then we're going to step it back with that left foot coming into our side half plank. Now press into that right foot and open it up. So it's kind of like our revolved low lunge, but our foot isn't so far forward. Our right foot is right in front of our left knee. And that gives us some support here. It gives us that opportunity to still activate through our obliques. We're using our left obliques to reach tall through that right side. We're not sinking into our left shoulder. Press those hips high. Press into that right foot to really open up. Coming onto that knife edge of our left foot. We're here for 3. Lift those hips a little bit higher for 2. Find your strength. For 1, hands come back down to the mat. Release those knees into our tabletop pose. Give yourself some nice wiggle wobbles, some hip rotations, wagging your tail, whatever variation you're needing. Tops of the hands, come down to the mat. Knees in the mat. Feel that one line of energy, that nice connection in our tabletop. Right hand is going to be really heavy this time. And then come into that interesting looking Captain Morgan posture. Let your left foot come out, pointing out towards the front of our mat. Once you feel that nice connection, step it back with those right toes. Right foot hand is really heavy. Right toe is pressing in. Now press into that left foot to open it up into our nice supported side plank. You can rotate onto your back right knife edge of your foot, using your inhales to pull those hips high, using those right obliques to really open up, to lift high. Now, anytime you're in side plank and you want to take a supported posture, I always recommend to take your top foot down rather than your bottom knee, because this is still working our core. This is still working all the muscles we want while giving yourself support, while not being able to kind of cheat. One more big breath here. Exhale, release through midline, step it back into your tabletop. Wag your hips. You can find some cat-cows, maybe some elbow drops. Letting go of any judgment, of anything, any thought that isn't serving you. Just let it go. Give yourself a smile, find your intention, and then hands come back underneath your shoulders, toes curl under, and then on an inhale, lift those hips high and back. Readjust to find your downward facing dog. All right, we have done every posture we're going to do throughout class. We have found every shape. So just trust your body that it knows where it's going, that your breath, your experience, you can find the connection you need to. You can find that control, whatever is serving you. We're just going to dance it out. Slow breath to movement here throughout class. Inhale, breath. Right leg reaches high towards the sky. Find that nice elongation. Use your entire exhale, full exhale, to step it through right in between your thumbs. And then on your inhale breath, back heel gets heavy. Sweep it up and around. Exhale lands you into that perfect warrior two. Inhale, flip that front palm. Reverse your warrior. Use your inhale to really fill up those right ribs. Exhale, release through that warrior two. Straighten through that front leg. Toes point out to opposite corners. Inhale, breath, 5-pointed star. Exhale, sit it low, horse pose. We're here for a breath. Inhale, crown reaches tall. Exhale, sit it low. Inhale, 5-pointed star. As you exhale, cartwheel it towards the top of your mat. Back heel pops up. Inhale, step it back into your plank pose. As you exhale, take your time. Make your way all the way to belly. Up to your toes, back. Full, complete inhale. Press it up. Cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Find your plank or tabletop. Hips lift high and back. Reset breath here. Cultivating energy, letting go of judgment, letting go of comparison, whatever you need to do. Use that exhale, soften out. Moving right into second side. Inhale, release that left leg high. Reach it tall to the sky. And then as you exhale, pull that knee into chest, into belly. Look at that space right between your thumbs. Back heel gets heavy. Inhale, cartwheel it up and around. Exhale, sit it low. Go right into that depth of warrior two. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Toes reach out towards opposite sides. Last time, no fear. Go to your depth. Horse pose. Find that posture. Stay here for a breath. Crown reaches tall. Exhale, sit it low. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it towards the top of your mat. Here's a little change coming up here. Inhale, step it back into your plank and then tabletop. Making our way into our second variation of side plank. If full side plank is calling to you, if you want to give that a go, absolutely. If you would like to take that supported side plank, set up with your right leg, wherever you are, step it back, either with just your left leg or both. Left hand is heavy. Inhale, breath, opening it up into our side plank. We're holding on for 5 counts wherever you are. If you get into side plank and your body says no thank you, you can just take your right foot down, press those hips high. You can stay in your full side plank, or if you really want to test, you can lift that right leg. Wherever you are, we're here for 3. We got 2. Last one. Come back through midline. Drop those knees towards the mat and give yourself some flashy movements. You can even come back onto your seat, flamingo fingertips, rotate through those wrists, whatever it is you need. Give yourself one more breath to let it go before we move into our second side. Again, options to set up. You can use that left leg brace. It's here for you. Right hand is going to stay nice and heavy. You can step it back with that right foot, or you can come into our full side plank, coming in, whatever variation you'd like. Right hand heavy. Inhale, breathe that left hand high. Finding that nice string, elevating that hip a little bit higher. Always an option to drop that left foot, pressing down into the mat. Whichever variation you'd like, you can lift that left leg. If you're there, we're here for 3. Find your smile for 2. Last big breath, hips a little bit higher, and then come back through neutral. Go ahead, drop down to those knees. Flashy movements, wag that tail, shrug and rotate through your shoulders. And then knees come close together. Sit those hips back. Fingertips reaching forward. And then taking a couple really big, deep breaths into that low spine. Option number 2 is to bring your hands back by your feet. This is a little bit more internal, a little bit more of a grounding earth energy here. And just allow yourself to connect. Allow yourself to breathe. And allow yourself to soak up all of this, what I like to call the yoga buzz, that breath to body connection, that prana energy, the thing that makes us alive, the thing that gives us this living, breathing force. And also just to recognize how freaking awesome you are right here, right now. There literally is no comparison. So just give yourself a big smile, knowing that and appreciating that. On your next inhale breath, gently find your hands back underneath your shoulders, just pressing it up so we can come into a seated position. You can rotate those legs out to the side, making our way onto our seats. Last time here, gripping onto those knees, let that heart elevate high, feeling that rhythm pull your sternum towards the sky, really shining high and through. This is really creating space in between our vertebrae. And then as you exhale, if you can do it without hands, gently press down vertebrae by vertebrae down into the mat. Hands are always available if you need that. And then once you're there, press that low spine down into the mat, really activate through that low core to make that connection, and then let your toes go long, fingertips reach up overhead. Try and maintain that connection as you take a nice big deep belly breath. Letting your hands feel heavy, let it go. Now just gently pull those knees into a bent position, feet make connection with the mat. And then inhale breath, right leg reaches towards the sky. Press that low back down into the mat. And just like we opened up, cross that right foot over that left knee, that right ankle over left knee. Pressing that right knee forward, feeling that nice open sensation. Maybe it's a little bit more available. Activate through that right toe, through that right foot to protect that right knee. And then if you would like to, if this feels great, if this is where you are today, you can stay here. If you would like to try and thread the needle, clasping the belly of the left thigh, you can do so. Still pressing that right knee forward, right foot nice and activated. And then go ahead, take some nice ankle rotations on the left side. Switch up the direction. And then really pulling that left knee back in space while right knee is reaching forward. A nice IT band, nice hamstring into our sciatica, getting into those hip flexors, all of those big important things. As you exhale, let that left foot come back down to the mat if you did release it. And then keeping the right ankle over left knee, we're just gonna let our knees drop over towards the left-hand side. Wait till that foot makes connection. And then once that foot makes connection, let your knee get heavy. You can use your left knee as a little bit of a support. And then your arms can come out to a T, maybe out to a goalpost. And then you can complete the twist by gazing over towards that right-hand side. Nice, gentle supine twist here. Try and stay in this for at least 5 breaths. Opening up through our side bodies, through our side hips, side legs, all the way down into our pinky toes. Most importantly here, though, is not forcing yourself into this posture. Let your muscles just be soft, letting breath and gravity take over. And sometimes when you let your muscles soften, you can find a little bit more depth because we're not bracing and we're not protecting. We're not letting our muscles protect ourselves, which is what they're there for. That's a good thing. But sometimes our body thinks it knows better and our body wants to brace it. my body is bracing today, and that's okay. That's perfect. And if you're there, that's okay. It's perfect. But just allowing yourself to breathe into the shape you need. One more big deep breath. Use your exhale to tell your muscles it's okay to let go. And then on your inhale, gently coming back through midline. Release that right foot down to the mat. Reacquaint your hips however they need to go. Give yourself a little hip wiggle. And then right foot is going to stay heavy. Left foot comes up in space, pressing that low spine down into the earth. Then crossing that left foot over right knee. Energetically already pressing that right knee forward. And I'm not talking physically. We don't need to put our hand to our knee to press it forward, but you can feel that control and that connection. Keep that left foot nice and active, pulling those toes back towards your knee. And again, if this is where you are, if this is your jam today, permission to stay right here in this figure 4 stretch. If you would like, you can thread the needle, reaching for the belly of the right thigh. As long as that left knee can still reach forward, right foot is coming back in space, and then go ahead, give those right toes those nice little ankle rotations. Switch the direction. Keep that left foot active, keeping that left toe or left knee pressing forward. One more big breath here. Maybe go a little bit deeper into that figure 4 stretch. And then as you exhale, release that right foot down towards the mat, keeping that left foot over in space. And then as you exhale, gently let that left foot fall towards the right side. Once that foot makes connection with the earth, let your knees get heavy. And then let your gaze fall over towards that left-hand side. Hands can come out to a T, maybe goalpost, or resting on belly is available as well. You just want to make sure that that left shoulder isn't popping up in space to get you deeper into that rotation. We want to stay nice and heavy on the mat. And then let yourself find your breath here. Let yourself find your connection. Again, allowing your muscles to soften. Give your body permission to not brace. It's doing so to protect you, which is what it's there for, and that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. But sometimes gravity and breath can take over. And of course, only going to the point of sensation. If you do ever get to that point of pain, let those muscles kick back in and give you a little bit more of a guard. Now one more big breath here. Use your exhale, let those muscles soften. On your inhale breath, come back through midline. Readjust your hips, release that left foot down to the mat, heel toe your feet out wide, and then knock those knees in towards each other. Hands can come to rest on belly and heart, maybe both hands on belly. And let yourself have at least 3 to 5 really, really big, satiating, full breaths. Filling up those lungs, that diaphragm, your belly, and then try and send those breaths down into your fingertips, down into your toes, really filling up completely. And use your exhale to soften that spine down into the mat. Press it in even, using your exhale to almost vacuum seal your belly into your spine to really feel heavy on the earth. 2 more like that. Last one, if your eyes aren't already closed, maybe take your eyes closed or let your gaze go fuzzy. And just let this sensation of your breath be the only thing that you're paying attention to, filling up completely, all the way down into your fingers, down into your toes, filling up into the top of your head. And then exhale, feel really heavy. Heel toe your feet back in towards midline. Fingertips reach up overhead. Toes reach forward. Find a nice big belly stretch. And then as you exhale, let your feet walk away from each other. Opportunity to grab your layers, maybe brace or drape your towel over your midline. Let your arms fall away from each other. And then intentionally release any sensation you're holding in your feet, your legs, your glutes, your belly, your low spine, mid spine, your back and shoulders. Let your chest and your arms soften, fingertips and toes. And finally, check in with your face and let yourself float off into Shavasana. Begin to bring some awareness back into your space, back into your room, back onto your mat. Begin to bring some of that awareness back into your body by letting your inhales deepen. Your exhales become more intentional. Once you feel like you have arrived back into your mind, begin to wiggle your toes and tickle your fingers with your thumbs. And once you feel ready, last time, let those fingertips reach up overhead. Let your toes reach forward, making a nice final big stretch. From this position, recognize if you need a little bit more internal, a little bit more me energy, Gently roll over onto the left-hand side. If you need more solar, more external energy, roll onto the right. Using that bicep as a pillow, pulling your knees into your chest, keeping your eyes closed and gaze soft. Give yourself one more beat, one more moment, one more posture in class to allow yourself to bring all of this opportunity, this moment, this here, this now, this non-comparison into the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend, the rest of your week, and the rest of your life. Using your opposite hand as a prop, gently press up, finding a comfortable seated position towards the top of your mat, letting your crown reach high. Bring those hands together at heart center, pressing thumbs or palms into chest. Drop your chin towards chest, thanking self first and foremost for giving yourself this hour, this flow, this breath. It really doesn't compare to anything else. Now bring those thumbs together at that third eye center, lifting the chin slightly in a sign of appreciation and awareness of the energy and effort we were able to share. Please know, the inner teacher and light within me so appreciates and so recognizes the inner teacher and light within each of you. And one way to say this is to bow our heads and say, Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me